You send it out with a thought, you send out the feeling which drags it back. You send out the thought, you send out the feeling which drags it back. And it's kind of like, if you imagine it, a slingshot, one way, the thought, and then that game Hungry Hippos is that feeling dragging it back. But it's got to come out to drag it back, come out to drag it back. And that is the constant process of you being able to do that. And one of the things I always want to do is I like to understand some of the science. Welcome back to another video. I'm Max Hindle. I help entrepreneurs reprogram their life, rewire their minds for happiness, success, abundance, fulfillment, confidence, you name it, I do it. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly how thought and intention can completely reprogram your subconscious mind and create exactly what you want, whether that's a healing, whether that's a future outcome that you want to achieve, or whether that's a different person that you want to become. Because at the end of the day, when you change your personality, your personal reality changes. So where I want to start off is understanding what thought and intention actually is, and also feeling. So in the quantum field, thought, which is basically intention, is the electromagnetic force, electromagnetic charge. Whereas feeling is the magnetic charge in the quantum field. So when you combine a thought and intention with an elevated feeling or emotion, you're sending out a signal and drawing back the outcome. Simultaneously, you're sending it out and drawing it back, sending it out and drawing it back. And that is the affinity sign, essentially. You're sending it out, drawing it back, sending it out, drawing it back, and sending it out, drawing it back, sending it out, drawing it back, sending it out, drawing it back. You're constantly working in alignment, in coherence with yourself, because you're sending out the electrical charge, which is the intention, and you're receiving back the magnetic charge, which is feeling and emotion. You're receiving it because you're sending out that thought, feeling and emotion, and that's what draws it towards you. So once you send out the electromagnetic thought, intention, then you feel the magnetic feeling, which is that of an elevated emotion, love, gratitude, anything that's an elevated emotion that is high frequency. You are dragging it back. So like I said, it's just that figure of 8. Thought, sending it out, feeling, dragging it back. Thought, sending it out, feeling, dragging it back. Thought, I am abundance, feeling, dragging abundance back. Thought, I am happy, dragging happiness back. And when you're doing this in these type of meditations in a low brainwave state, you are beginning to reprogram your subconscious mind regardless. So this is where the power actually begins to start. And obviously, when you're doing this in a state of just normality, just like beta brainwave, so everyday consciousness, you are matter trying to change matter. But when you do it in a low vibrational brainwave state, so that of theta, you are energy, because your electromagnetic field is expanding to around 9 meters wide, just through the power of meditation, hypnosis, anything that gets you into a theta state of mind, you are then energy changing energy. And energy can change energy. So you are essentially being a higher vibrational energy, which is changing the old energy to the new energy. So you send it out with a thought, you send out the feeling, which drags it back. You send out the thought, you send out the feeling, which drags it back. And it's kind of like, if you imagine it, a slingshot, one way, the thought, and then that game Hungry Hippos is that feeling dragging it back. But it's got to come out to drag it back, come out to drag it back. And that is the constant process of you being able to do this. And one of the things I always want to do is I like to understand some of the science. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I love the science behind why all this stuff works, because people come at me sometimes and they say, well, how do you know what you're talking about? And I'm like, because the science shows it. Like, what more information do you need? You always believe science. And I'm quite an optimistic thinker, so I like to believe things before science, because I like to always sometimes be like, I told you, I did tell you this a couple of years ago. Maybe for my ego, but I don't know. I just like to, I'm always quite far out there. I like things to be mystical. I like things to be magical. And when science proves it, it's like, ain't mystical and magical now. What can I go on to now? Or what can I go on to next? But this is a little study that was done with DNA and how it was possible to be unwound by the power of thought and feeling. So what they did was they sat down, very experienced very experienced prayers, meditators and healers, and they said to them, they put a test tube of DNA in front of them, a few test tubes of DNA, and what they said was, with your intention, I want you to unwind that DNA. They all sat down, they all focused, they all imagined, visualized and created that DNA, imagining like it was unwinding, and to their detriment, nothing changed, nothing happened. So they were like, okay, so thought alone doesn't do anything. So this is where positive thinking alone doesn't do anything. You can't just say, I am happy, I am positive, I am this, I am healthy, when you're not. You have to change. So they went to the next part of the experiment, and they said, now all we want you to do is feel an elevated emotion, that of love, gratitude, freedom, happiness, something that is an elevated emotion, and see if that can unwind the DNA. And to their detriment, again, nothing changed. Nada. Nothing. Not a thing happened. But this is the crazy thing. When they told them to hold the thought in mind of that unwinding, whether that was a visualization or however they create that unwinding as a thought, while combining that with an elevated emotion, that of love, gratitude, opening up their hearts to love, gratitude, while thinking that thought, thinking that thought, the DNA managed to unwind in 3 test tubes in the same place about 25%. 25%. Just by thought and feeling combined. They didn't touch it, they didn't physically go anywhere near it, it was in a test tube. So basically what they proved is that your thought sends out the signal. It's the electrical charge that sends out the signal. Now when they were feeling the emotional, the feeling associated with it, an elevated emotion, those two combined went into the quantum field to change that DNA, unwound it by 25%. 25%, that's a lot. 1%, it's not too much. 25%. Imagine you got a 25% pay rise. Imagine you got 25% faster. You got 25% faster car. You were performing at a 25% higher ability. Imagine that. And that was the amount that this DNA unwound just by thought and feeling alone. No one touched it. No one actually physically did anything. Now, when they moved into this, they were obviously experienced meditators, experienced prayers, experienced healers. So they have that power. Now, you're probably asking, but well, do I have that power if I'm not an experienced? Yes, you do. Because thought and feeling is something that you are capable of doing, correct? I know I am. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you are. So what I want you to understand, because even if you're writing even if someone was going to try and troll me and write a comment and say, well, I can't think of anything right now. You thought about writing that, so you've written it down. So I may have stopped a few people in their tracks right there. I highly doubt it though, because if you're watching my videos, you're a kind and loving and caring person that just wants to change their life and change the world. So essentially what you're doing, when you're sending out these thoughts, you're drawing back the event to you with the feeling, you begin to change. And that does mean that you have to physically get up and change yourself. Now, that example with the DNA I like to give because it's just science, it just proves it, and it's just like, see, it told you, it's there in black and white. Like, it's like the word the. You just spell it T-H-E in English, you just do. There's no abbreviation, you just spell it like that. And I like to explain it that way. So can we change ourselves? Of course we can. If you can change DNA that people thought wasn't changeable, if you can change DNA, imagine what you can do with your life. Imagine how you can think yourself into abundance, how you can think yourself into a powerful relationship that just fills you with love and joy and purpose every day. Imagine how you can think yourself into the dream job, doing that one thing that you love to do. And all you've got to do is move into that thought and feeling. Combine the two together, slap bang, make a sandwich, a vegan sandwich because I'm vegan. You got your thought, no, you got some bread. Your thought is some lettuce, some cucumber, some tomatoes. Your feeling is vegan cheese, because I like some vegan cheese, or some vegan bacon. It's called bacon. Very nice. Whatever you want in your sandwich. This is my sandwich. Stick the bread on and eat it. If you want to put some crisps on it, put some crisps on it. That's just the extra flair of like the meditations and all of this, all of that. But the meditation is essential, essentially, to get into that low vibrational, the high vibrational brainwave state, which is theta. We go into it every day. If you want to understand how to get into theta, watch this video here. It will explain exactly how you get into the theta state of mind. But other than that, the main thing is for you to understand is thoughts, the electrical charge, feelings, the magnetic charge. Send them both out into the quantum field. You begin to change, your life begins to change. Synchronicities start to happen, alignments start to happen, new opportunities, great people start to come into your life. And it's like, huh, this is cool. This is amazing. Because it is. Because when you move into that vibrational state, you change your being, you change your person, which draws it to you. So use this. Change your life. Empower your mind. Just by thought alone and feeling, obviously. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing day. If you've got any questions whatsoever, send me a message on Instagram, comment down below. If you like this video, like the video, please feel free to turn on my notifications, share this content. This helps me help you, I help more people, and I feel fulfilled, and you'll feel fulfilled when you're helping someone else, because at the end of the day, it's free to do. You're helping me, you're helping someone else, and you're helping yourself by watching these videos. And I hope you keep spreading love, kindness, and so much positivity.